Hey, it's Game Hydro. Welcome back. We got another video about Archero 2, and this time we're going to make a tier list of all the available equipment and figure out what the absolute best loadout is. So what we're going to do, and yeah, we're going to look at at every piece of equipment, except for weapons, because we already did that in a different video. So if you want to go to find that video, check out our Archero 2 playlist. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to organize it. It's already organized by type. So we're going to take a look at each piece of equipment. Now, obviously, the disclaimer here is that, number one, this is opinion-based by looking at the secondary characteristics of each equipment, because whatever equipment you have that is the highest upgrade level, if it's a higher upgrade level than other pieces of equipment, that will be your strongest one. But the secondary characteristics are what we're really looking at here. So to kick this off, we're going to look at the pieces of armor first. First, we have the Echo armor. At blue, max hit points increased by 5%. Purple, barrage damage reduction plus 5%. At gold, for every 5 combo hits, add 2 diagonal arrows on the next hit. That's not too bad. So, but for every 5 combo hits of your own, the next hit includes 2 diagonal arrows. And then at gold level 3, armor-based stats up by 20%, which is a significant amount. So combo hits plus 2 diagonal arrows on next hit. Diagonal arrows are notoriously not very well aimed, so that one to me is a little bit of a minimal impact one. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Now we're going to look at each piece of armor before we start assigning tiers to them. Next, we got the armor of decisiveness. At blue, rare, max hit point plus 5%. Barrage damage reduction plus 5% at epic, same as the last one. At gold, deals damage over time to enemies within 7 meters. 7 meters is pretty close to you, but dealing damage over time can be pretty nice, especially when you're dealing with tough enemies or bosses. And then gold plus 3, armor-based stats plus 20%. Next, we'll look at the armor of destruction. Rare and epic are the same as the last two. Gold, gain 1 flame shield that lasts for 10 seconds when damaged, shatters and explodes when you get hit again. And then armor-based stats plus 20%. Out of all of those 3, I think the flame shield is the most impactful one, because when it shatters and explodes, it has a chance to do some area damage there. And lasting for 10 seconds, that's a pretty good amount of time. So armor of destruction, that's the best one. I'm giving that A+ tier. Armors of decisiveness, I'm giving A- tier, because I like damage to close enemies, especially on levels with pretty big mobs. Echo armor, the plus 2 diagonal arrows, I couldn't care less about. I'm going B tier on that one, because the 2 diagonal arrows, the only way the 2 diagonal arrows make a big impact is if you've got the skill that causes projectiles to automatically target enemies. And even then, that's only for every 5 combo hits. That's lower quality than a lot of power-ups you pick up in the level. So that is the tier list for suits of armor. Moving on to rings. Number 1, we got the Ring of Destruction. At rare, attack power 5%. At epic, crit rate 3%. At legendary, chance to drop a landmine when defeating an enemy. Doesn't say how much of a chance, just that there's a chance. And ring-based stats plus 20% at gold plus 3. Now, next one, we got the Ring of Decisiveness. We got attack power plus 5, crit rate plus 3. And then at legendary, you have crit rate increases with more nearby monsters. up to 9%. 9% is a pretty high crit rate. This sounds like a pretty good one for dealing with large mobs especially. And then +3, ring base stats plus 20%. Same as the others. Now we got Echo Ring, attack power +5, crit rate +3. And then when you hit legendary, for every 5 combo hits, attack speed up 2%, up to 8%. And then ring base stats +20. So, out of the 3 rings, chance to drop a landmine, crit rate increases, attack speed +2. They're pretty close to each other, but the landmine one has to take the win because you're, especially against mobs, you're going to be facing off against a lot of enemies. The crit rate up, not too bad, up to 9%. Still, though, I've seen better crit rates out there. And the Echo Ring, for every 5 combo hits, attack speed +2%, up to 8%. I mean, that's really only noticeable when you get to the 5th combo hit. So I'm going to give A tier to the Ring of Destruction. I'm going to give B tier to the Ring of Decisiveness. I'm going to give B- tier to Echo Ring. No, I'm going to give that a B tier also. That's tied with the Ring of Decisiveness for me. But the Ring of Destruction takes the win here because of that skill. Now we're going to move on to helmets. Helmet of Destruction. Max hit point +5% at rare. Red heart heal +20% at epic. That's pretty useful. Every monster defeated causes the next attack to trigger an area explosion. That causes the next attack. Wow, that's quite a few area explosions. And obviously I'm a sucker for area of effect damage here. And then helmet base stats +20. Next, we've got the Echo Helmet. Cool looking. Max hit points +5% when you get to epic. When you get to legendary, red heart heal +20%. When you get to legendary, yes, gains 2 times the combo hit on crit. So each critical attack, I guess, is doubled. That's pretty strong, especially when you have a high crit rate. And then +20% base stats. Next and final one, we got Helmet of Decisiveness, max hit points +5 on rare, on epic, red heart heal 20. On gold, higher crit damage at closer distances up to 36%. Oh, crit damage, not crit rate. God, I was going to say that's a really high crit rate. But, I mean, yeah. Helmet base stats +20%. So, out of those ones, I really like the next attack triggers an area explosion. I'm going to give that an S- tier because that has the potential to do an insane amount of area of effect damage there. S- tier for Helmet of Destruction. For Helmet of Decisiveness, higher crit damage at closer distances. That's a B tier because, I mean, if your style of play is that you like to use the knuckles, that's one thing, but the knuckles are the worst because of the high distance or the close distance you got to use them with. So I'm giving that a B because it's kind of useless when you're not using the knuckles. 2 times combo hits on crit. I'm going to go B+ on that because that's a lot of extra damage for the Echo Helmet. Now we're going to get to the amulets. This is where it really gets fun. I'm going to go Amulet of Destruction first. On rare, attack power +5%. Epic is crit damage +12%. Legendary, randomly detonates 2 monsters on the field every 2 seconds. That is an extremely overpowered skill, especially when you're fighting monsters that are strong, but there's not a high number of them. So that can get you through a lot of non-boss levels really quickly. And then amulet base stats 20. Next up, Echo Amulet. Attack power 5, crit damage 12. And on legendary, every 5 combo hits doubles the damage of the next attack. And then base stats plus 20. So that's kind of like getting a critical hit every 6th attack, basically. Which, that's actually pretty good. That's like kind of like a crit rate of, if I'm doing the math right, 15, 30, like 18%, 17%. When you think about it, you just got to keep the combo going. Amulet of Decisiveness. Attack power plus 5%, crit damage plus 12%. And then when you get to the legendary tier, counter with double damage to nearby enemies when damaged. That's a really explosive attack as well. And for double the damage of your primary, that could be a lifesaver when it comes to getting rid of mobs that are close to you. Although, obviously, the only weakness I don't like with that is it either incentivizes you to try to eat a little bit of damage, or it doesn't work that well with far away enemies, but with close enemies, yes, it does work well. So out of that one, I'm giving this one S tier. Randomly detonates 2 monsters. It doesn't matter how far away they are, it randomly detonates them. That's S tier. That's pretty killer. Amulet of Decisiveness, counter with double the damage to nearby enemies. I'm going A tier on that one. That's a pretty strong secondary. Every combo hit doubles the next attack damage. That one, I'm going A tier on, because even though it doesn't do, well, it does splash damage if you're using the staff and firing beams at people, or you're shooting out like 4 or 5 arrows at a time and landing on the target with all of them. I'm going A+ on that one. The Echo Amulet makes a strong case there. And then with the boots of Decisiveness, max hit points plus 5% when you hit rare. When you hit epic, 5% dodge. When you hit legendary, crit damage increases with more nearby monsters, up to 36%. Boots base stats plus 20%. Crit damage increases, but crit rate doesn't increase. Meh. Boots of Destruction. Max hit point plus 5%. Dodge plus 5%. And then legendary triggers an explosion on the attacker when dodging. So that's pretty good if you've got a good dodge rate. An explosion on the attacker to knock off both the attacker and any other monsters close to them. I like the splash damage potential there. And then boots base stats plus 20, of course, at the highest level. And then Echo Boots. Max hit point plus 5%, dodge plus 5%, crit damage plus 32% after 30 combo hits. So after 30 combo hits, that will permanently increase your crit damage, not just for the next attack, but permanently. That one, and it doesn't say anything about consecutive combos, so that one's actually stronger than it looks at first. And the boot base stat plus 20%. Out of those ones, the Boots of Destruction, most of the time your dodge rate isn't sky high. I'm going B+ tier on that. Echo Boots, crit damage 32 after 30 combo hits. That can be pretty killer paired with a high crit percentage, so I think I'm going to go A tier on that one. And the Boots of Decisiveness, crit damage increases with more nearby monsters, up to 36%. I'm going B tier on that one. Because it doesn't really do much of anything if you're keeping your distance like you should be. So that is my tier list of the equipment so far. And some of those categories can be really boosted by like secondary characteristics you get from your runes. Like certain runes, circle damage, circle speed, attack power, devil encounter. Now, I thought some of these runes over here increase the dodge rate and increase the crit rate, but I'm not seeing that. However, you pick up a lot of skills that increase the dodge rate and increase the crit rate, so that makes those extra useful. Going over here, we've got one example of a type of S tier equipment, and it changes every 3 days or so, 4 days, 5 days, whatever. But we'll take a look at these just as a control. Now, S tier equipment almost automatically is put in a higher tier because it has far higher statistics compared to the same rarity and the same level of equipment. Plus, it's just as easy to upgrade as non-S tier equipment. The Oracle Amulet, when you upgrade it to uncommon or fine, attack power 5%, crit damage 12%. Every S combo hits doubles. Every 5 combo hits doubles the next attack damage. That one's pretty good too. That's familiar. On gold, attack power plus 10, gold plus 3, base stats 20. On red, every 3 combo hits doubles the next attack damage. So that's basically a mega stat boost there. No real ultra impressive secondary skills, but just the amount of different boosts here and the base stats in general make it S tier. Oracle Armor, max hit points plus 5%, barrage damage reduction plus 5%. For every 5 combo hits, 2 diagonal arrows on the next hit. So these, if I'm remembering right, kind of echo the, no pun intended, kind of echo the Echo Armor. Max hit point plus 10, armor base stats 20. For every 5 combo hits, plus 4 diagonal arrows on the next hit. I mean, if you're up to red tier anyways, you're red tier S grade, you're ridiculously overpowered. Red tier, of course, being mythic. So, but that just adds a whole buttload of diagonal arrows on top of it. And if you pick up the skill that allows the arrows to auto aim, or the beams if you're using the staff, that does stupid amounts of damage and looks like some old school 90s shoot 'em up game in the arcades. All right. Oracle Boots, max hit point plus 5, dodge plus 5. Ooh, dodge. Crit damage plus 32 after 30 combo hits. Max hit points 10. Boots base stats 20. Crit damage 48% after 20 combo hits. Oracle Ring, attack power plus 5, crit rate plus 3. For every 5 combo hits, attack speed plus 2 up to 8%. Attack power plus 10, ring base stats plus 20. For every 5 combo hits, attack speed plus 4 up to 16. That's also attack speed plus 4 up to 16%. That's a pretty fast attack. And then for the Oracle Helmet, max hit points plus 5, red heart heals 20, 2 times the combo hits on crit. Max hit point plus 10, helmet's base stats plus 20, gains 3 times the combo hits on crit. So like what these basically are the Echo equipment on steroids. And then when this Oracle epic stuff is swapped out for other S tier equipment, for example, the Dragoon set, that equipment set is also going to echo one of the normal sets, just elevated massively. So you can use that as a guide as well to figure out what S tier equipment you want to get if you really want to piece it up. Or you could just go with the chromatic chest and get random pieces of S gear equipment and see where you go, which if you're a big spender, a whale, maybe that's more your cup of tea. But if you're a big spender or a whale, then you got more money than I do. Anyways, that is the tier list of equipment and the best loadout. So to recap, you got some S tiers and some A tiers here, and in general, you want the destruction themed thing, except for the boots, where the boots of destruction lost out to the Echo boots. So, yeah, that's the tier list. Use that to know which pieces of equipment you should be upgrading and merging primarily, especially once you get to the epic and legendary tiers. And we are going to go fix our equipment loadout right now, or at least try to with what the equipment that we got. Anyways, this is Game Hydro. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoy the rest of our Archero 2 content.